You can now use your 529 plan to help pay off some of your student loans. That's not necessarily new news. It came out in the Secure Act, but so you can do it. But should you? Is there a catch? There actually is. I'll explain coming up. My name is Mike Bernard. I'm the host of the Wise Money Show. I'm also one of the certified financial planners right here at Corhorn Financial Group. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and smash that thumbs up button. So the 529 plan, section 529 of Internal Revenue Code, blah, blah, blah. It basically says, hey, you can create a tax-sheltered account to save up for college. But wait, it's actually for a lot more things now, and one of those is student loans, but there's a huge catch in certain states, and I want to break that down. Let's first start with how in the world do 529 plans work anyway, okay? And I'm not going to move over to the whiteboard. I'll just explain it using my hands, okay? So here's the deal. It's the 529 plan is basically the Roth IRA equivalent for education, all right? So for a 529 plan, you can open a 529 plan. You have to use a certain states, and typically there are benefits for using your own state's 529 plan, and we'll explain that in a second. But at a federal level, you can open a 529 plan. You make contributions into that 529 plan, and you don't get any federal tax benefit for doing so, but then those dollars are invested within the 529 plan. As they grow, there's no tax impact on you. So if you receive dividends within that account, or you sell something and buy another investment, whatever, there's no capital gains that's passed on to you. It's completely sheltered, okay? And hopefully over a long period of time, that account grows, all right? Then, when you use that money in the 529 plan for a qualified, it used to be qualified higher education expense. Now they're just saying a qualifying expense, a qualifying expense. If you use that money for a qualifying expense, you can pull that growth out absolutely tax-free. It does not become taxable income on your tax return. So, after tax money in, meaning you make a contribution, there's no federal tax benefit, tax-sheltered activity, tax-sheltered growth within the account, and then tax-free withdrawal when you use the money for a certain purpose. I mean, that's like a Roth IRA, but this one's for education. So that's how the 529 plan works at a federal level. Now, I mentioned each state has one or two 529 plans that they offer. And essentially, these states offer them, and most states offer a state tax benefit as well. So Michigan, for example, on your contributions, on your net contribution, so contributions minus any withdrawals, you get a state deduction up to 10 grand per year for your contributions into the 529 plan. So it's a state deduction and saves you on some state taxes. Okay, that's great. Indiana, my home state, where I'm recording this right now, our headquarters is. I mean, it's not the best. Indiana's not the best at a lot of things. They've got the best 529 plan incentive, in my opinion. It's a state tax credit, okay? On the first 5 grand that you contribute each year, you get an Indiana state tax credit of 20%. So a 20% tax credit on 5 grand means you put 5 grand into the account, into that 529 plan, you get $1,000 back on your Indiana state tax return. It's a huge deal. It only costs you 4 grand to put 5 grand towards college. It's an amazing deal. But with many of these state benefits, if your state offers an incentive to use their 529 plan, then if you don't use the money in the 529 plan, if you withdraw it for a non-qualified reason, then you have to pay back those state benefits typically, okay? And in Indiana, if you withdraw the money for college, then you're good. A qualifying expense, you're good, okay? You got this tax credit, you pull the money out tax-free, you're all set. But if you withdraw the money from a 529 plan for a non-qualified reason, then not only do you have to include the growth from that 529 plan on your tax return, but you have to repay the state tax credit. Yeah, And for some of you, you might hear that warning and say, oh, I don't want anything to do with that. No, this is a huge return. That's a 20% state tax credit. You've just got to be aware that if you don't use the money for the right reasons, you might need to pay that credit back. Now, enter in the Secure Act. All right, the Secure Act said, hey, we're going to start trying to help people with the student loan crisis, and 529 plans have primarily been for higher education, and therefore you can use the money for tuition and room and board and other expenses, required expenses for college, but they are not going to let you use that money for previous college expenses, meaning loans that you took out. No, 529's got to be used for actual college expenses. And the Secure Act took aim at this, okay? By the way, there were some changes as well that said now you can use 10 grand a year of your 529 plan towards K through 12 tuition as well. And so that also expanded the use case of the 529 plan. But let's go back to loans. For as long as I've been doing, I've been in this career 20 years since I graduated, people have been asking, can I use my 529 plan for student loans? No, you can't. And then the Secure Act came out and said, yes, you can. There's a once in a lifetime ability for you to take 10 grand out of a 529 plan as a federally qualifying withdrawal, so meaning the growth isn't taxable or penalized to you, and you can use that 10 grand to pay on a student loan. Awesome, awesome deal. Once in a lifetime, up to 10 grand, okay? Awesome. But do the states view that same withdrawing that money from a 529 plan for student loans? Do states as well say, yeah, we agree with you, federal government. That is a qualifying withdrawal. That's a good reason for you to use this money. You don't have to pay back our state tax incentive. No. Many states don't look at using 529 plan money for a student loan. They don't look at that as a qualifying withdrawal. Indiana in particular, check this out, has flat out said, no, fine, the IRS allows you to take money out of your 529 up to 10 grand in your lifetime and pay that on to a student loan. That's fine. The IRS allows you to do that. However, Indiana, we are not saying that that is a qualifying withdrawal, and therefore you would have to pay back your $1,000 tax credit or the tax credits that you received on that money. Wow, that's a big deal. So now the answer of, hey, can I use my 529 plan for my student loan? The answer is, yeah, you can. But if you've received some state tax benefits or say some state tax incentives for contributing to the 529 plan, you might have to repay those if you do use your 529 plan money for a student loan. In the case of Indiana, you absolutely would. Check with your state before you make this withdrawal as to whether you'd have to pay back any of the state tax incentives that you've received. The big point is the 529 plan is a very, very unique college savings tool. It's been made more versatile beyond just college because you can now use it for K through 12 tuition, and you can use it to help with student loans up to 10 grand per lifetime, okay? But some of that comes with a catch. And any state tax incentives that you receive, you might have to pay those back depending on how you use the 529 plan if you don't use it directly for a qualifying college expense. So, is this a reason, this confusion, this complexity to not use a 529 plan? No way. The tax benefits are way too rich. They're way too good. You've got to consider the 529 plan. Work with your certified financial planner though, so that you're aware of what the gimmies are and what the gotchas are, all right? Because if you've looked at a 529 plan as a way to help save up for college, but you think, yeah, I actually might have my kid take a student loan out because I want them to feel the responsibility of having the debt, and then I'll use my 529 plan to just pay the debt off if they graduate with a certain GPA or whatever. Your certified financial planner will say, hey, hang on, hold your horses there. If we do that, then we'd have to repay the tax credit. Here, let's come up with a different way of approaching this. So work with your certified financial planner on that goal of helping with college. and then your overall tax situation to see what the right approach is. Your CFP doing comprehensive financial planning will be able to apply some creativity to your situation, come up with the right game plan for you. If you need some help in that area, feel free to give us a call. You can find us online, corehorn.com, that's Corehorn with a K, wisemoneyshow.com, you can find us there as well. Or like I said, give us a call, 574-247-5898. All right, there you have it. Go out and take your next wise step in your financial life.